G'day and welcome to episode 98 of the Guy Who Sews podcast. My name is Sean and this is my weekly update where I share my quilting adventures. I'd like to welcome both new and returning viewers, but if you are new, I would love it if you take just a few moments to say hi in the comments so we all know we have a new friend. Come see what I've been working on, what I've completed, and any other fun news I might have. But let's go ahead and get started with our works in progress. I had a fantastic week. I got a lot done and I am super proud of everything that I was able to get done and able to share with you today. The first thing I've been working on was on yesterday's live, and it was the poppy blocks, which is this here. I'm using a Kona sheen and some more other Kona solids, and this is part of the border for the Alice in Wonderland or So Place Like Home. Art East is actually running a competition right now where you can actually win the pattern and some other really nice goodies. So duck over to their Instagram page and check that out as well, and you might be the lucky winner for that as well. The next thing I worked on was my Fab Farm, which is a pattern by Elizabeth Hartman. There's a variety of different farm animals. And I started my horse last night, and I haven't finished him, unfortunately. But I think it turned out really cute. And then this is the next part of it, and I think this is turning out really, really nicely. I was working on the sheep yesterday. You'll get to see that a little later on in the episode as well. And then the other thing I've been working on that's a work in progress is one of the t-shirt quilts I'm working on. And I got it all basted, or pinned, or whatever you want to call it. So it will be going to get quilted very, very soon, and I will be quilting this on my domestic machine as well. So that's what I have for my works in progress. I'm excited to be able to show you several finished objects later on in the episode, but before we do that, let's go ahead and do our works in progress. No, not my works in progress. Week in review, which is a series of different videos I take during the week, most of me sewing, but also at the doggos and any other adventures we get up to, so I hope you enjoy. Last week I asked everybody if they cut all the fabric out for their project before starting or if they did it block by block, and I loved hearing all the answers. We got a wide variety of different answers. Some of you cut it all beforehand, some do it block by block, and then there's some that also do a test block, which I think is a really neat idea and something I do myself quite a bit just to make sure it all fits together before cutting out a million pieces of fabric. This week I was curious to know if you are the only one in your family and friends that crafts, or if you have other friends or family that craft as well, whether it's sewing or knitting or crocheting, woodwork, or anything else like that. I think they come from a family of crafters. I quilt, as you've seen. I do a little bit of painting. My sister is also a quilter. My dad, he does everything. He paints, he does stained glass windows. And my late brother, he was an excellent stonemason, but he was also a fantastic drawer and painter as well. I don't have a lot of friends that craft, except for my quilting buddies, of course. But yeah, I'm just very curious to know if you have friends and family that craft as well, and if so, which ones? So now it's time to talk about my goals for this week, and I would love to get the t-shirt quilt quilted, and then I'd also like to finish the horse block, which shouldn't take a whole lot of time, and then hopefully cut out the chicken because he's the last animal for this quilt. We're getting pretty close to finishing it. It's the chicken and then 2 more sunflowers. Let me know what your goals are for this week. And so now it is time for questions and answers. The first one that came in is from Daniel Becker, and he was asking if I use AccuQuilt or have used blocks from AccuQuilt in the past. I have done projects with AccuQuilt. The Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mixture quilts are made with AccuQuilt dies, but I do not own one myself. I think they're a lot of fun. I think they're a wonderful resource, but it's not something I'm currently able to use a whole lot, because with the projects I like to do, the Art East, the Elizabeth Hartman, that sort of thing there's so many different size blocks. So it's just not something that's practical for me at this present time, but it might be something I would be interested. I am actually interested in potentially getting something like that down the road as well. And the other question that came in is from my friend Barb McKinley, and she was asking how Amanda was doing with the Mystery Knit Along, which is a huge project that the knitting community does, kind of like the Cotton Cuts thing, where it has several clues and you make a project at the very end. She's working on a shawl, and it's a series of pinks, and you'll have to go check out her podcast for updates the next time she does one. But it's turning out really, really beautifully, and I'm looking forward to seeing the completed project. I always love hearing your questions. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer on the podcast, please email me or put them in the comments, and I'll feature them on a future episode. Last week, I wished a happy birthday to Tiffany's Quilting Life and Martha's Creative Life, and several of my viewers put in the comments that they had birthdays this month as well, and I wanted to wish them a happy birthday here on the channel during today's podcast. So the first one is my friend Deidre Powell, and then we had Carol Sows and Joan Reed, and then finally my friends Lorraine from Sewing with Lorraine. Happy birthday to each and every one of you. If you have a birthday in November and I missed it, please let me know in the comments or send me an email, and I'll definitely feature that in a future episode. And so now it is time for news and events. Yesterday I had my live Breakfast with the Guy Who Sews, and I had my very special guest, Jamie from the Quilting Compound. She was an absolute hoot to hang out with. I had so much fun having her join me yesterday morning. If you haven't checked it out, go see that one as well. I started a new series last week called Investigating Quilts, which is where I take a quilt that I saw at a quilt show in the past and talk a little bit more about it. It's only a couple of minutes long. I did my first one on last Monday, and a lot of you guys saw it and really enjoyed it, and the next episode will come out tomorrow morning. I'm also releasing a time-lapse of the Village Green Puzzle Mixture quilt, the whole thing coming together, Clue 10, so that was a lot of fun. That'll be coming out Wednesday evening. And then I also hope to get the time-lapse for the White Rabbit block out this week. We'll see if we can get that done. And finally, this coming Saturday, with Brecky the Guy Who Sews, I will have my friend Brandy from 100 Proof Quilter. We've had her on once before, and I'm really excited to have her back. So I hope to have you join us then. And so next up is Show and Tell, and I've been saying a lot that I haven't been to the quilt store in a while, and I'm trying to shop for my stash, and that's definitely true. But I had to drop one of my exchange students off at tennis the other day, and there was a quilt shop just down the road that I've been wanting to visit for quite some time. So I ducked in. I needed to get some orange thread, which I successfully purchased. But while I was there, I also looked through the fabric, because you always do that. And I picked up a couple of different things that I just could not leave on the shelf. This was something I've never seen before. I think this is a really, really fun fabric. I think it's Halloween themed, but I just love all the different doggos that are here on there with their little skeletons. And then I also picked up a couple of fat quarters. This is the first one here, and this is for Simon, because he absolutely loves Star Wars. And then this one is for Lorenzo, because he absolutely loves yellow. And my goal for these two is I want to make little bowl cozies for them, so that way they can use it during the winter when we have our soups and stews and that sort of thing there. And then they can take it back home to Europe when they go home back in June. And so now it's a very exciting time to be able to share with you. I've finished Lorenzo's quilt, and I want to show you that all real quick. So this is the finished quilt. I've used a binding, which is the same as the background. And then I was even good and did a label as well. So this is what the quilt looks like. This thing is enormous, and it's now sitting on his bed. But it's got all the different colors. All the oranges. And then I'll show you the yellows real quick. So there you go. So it's all done. I'm very happy that the somber quilt is finally done, and that way Lorenzo's able to use it. So in addition to finishing Lorenzo's quilt last week, which I'm super excited about, I finished two more little objects. The first one is the sheep, which is part of the Fab Farm by Elizabeth Hartman, and I absolutely love this. I think the fabric I chose, which is a batik for the wool, is really, really neat and fits this perfectly. So that's the little sheep. The horse you'll hopefully get to see next week. And then the other project I finished was the White Rabbit, which is the Art East Mad Quilt Party, which is the Alice in Wonderland themed one as well. And this is him all here. We'll take a close-up. This is all Tula Pink Fabrics, which is a line I've never worked with before, but I'm having a lot of fun with all the bright and different colors there as well. So that's the projects I've finished this week. I'm super excited that I got as much done, and I'm hoping that motivation continues on into the next week as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, definitely hit the like button, share with a friend, and I always love hearing comments from my viewers. Hope you all have a great week. It's all productive for you, and we'll see you on the next video. Happy sewing. Bye.